Your family traditions, culture, and stories are your legacy. So is your health history. Join the All of Us research program and share your health information. Through research, your legacy can help build a healthier future for all of us.
Good afternoon and welcome. On behalf of the Delta Research and Educational Foundation, DREF Research Matters for All of Us initiative, and Detect Tag, we are so excited that you decided to join us today. DREF, in collaboration with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and the National Council of Negro Women, is conducting a health initiative entitled Research Matters, Creating Health and Wellness, Creating Possibilities to Achieve Health and Wellness for All of Us. The initiative is made possible by the National Institutes of Health All of Us research program. As part of our commitment to the overall health and wellness of our communities, we have implemented a digital programming series. These virtual presentations are designated to foster the development of healthy habits and lay the groundwork to share information, inspiration, and ideals for African Americans to lead balanced and healthy lifestyles. These events will feature professionals in their respective fields sharing stories, tips, and tools that aim to help develop healthy, confident, and resilient individuals. Many factors such as behavior, lifestyle, environment can affect your health and wellness. That is why it is very important to learn more about research and to research these components in everyday living. Utilizing the information learned can lead to better decision-making and influence healthier outcomes of current and future generations. The genes of the father or the paternal genes are said to be more active than the mother's or the maternal ones. The result of this might be a child that has his mother's eyes, but his father's hair, but in fact is genetically closer in traits to his father. Genetic traits can be passed from parent to child in different ways. People can carry a gene but not be affected directly by it themselves. These patterns help to explain the condition that seems to skip a generation or be more common in boys than girls. But by sharing health history, information, completing surveys, and participating in research can help to uncover these patterns and assist in creating a happier, healthier family portrait. To learn more about the All of Us research program and the Delta Research and Educational Foundation's Research Matters initiative, please visit www.joinallofus.org/DREF. But today we've made things even easier. During the event, take a moment to scan the QR code or type in the bit.ly link that appears on the screen in order to access our website, visit our social media platforms, as well as to complete the engagement survey. Now, the engagement survey will be very important because participants that complete that survey will be selected at random to receive a Daddy Daughter Day prize kit full of gifts and prizes from our amazing panelists. Prize winners will be announced at the conclusion of this presentation, and their gifts will be shipped later this week. So complete the survey and stay tuned until the end to see if you're a winner. Now, did you know that today is literally National Father-Daughter Day? Although we chose to call it Daddy Daughter Day because we think it's cuter. Every year on the second Sunday in October in the United States, the day is set aside to honor father-daughter relationships. Although not a federal holiday like Mother's Day or Father's Day, the bond between a father and his daughters, especially in the Black community, is essential and certainly worthy of recognition. Being an authentic daddy's girl myself, I can testify to the incomparable, influential, inspiring, and irreplaceable relationship between a father and his daughter. Their connection exceeds far beyond physical traits or genetic makeup. A father-daughter bond has an astounding impact and influences long-term development. Today, the Delta Research Educational Foundation, DREF Research Matters for All of Us initiative, and Detect Tag are honored to celebrate amazing fathers doing amazing things to educate, encourage, and empower their amazing daughters. Join us in the celebration of Daddy Daughter Day.
Ooh, that's right. Lance, What you got for 'em? This is for all the Rugrats out there. And guess what? I brought a little Rugrat of my own. Stella, my daughter. Why don't you come out here for this one? Stella, is it cool if we take everybody on a daddy dada day?
Daddy dada day.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. It goes daddy dada day. We're gonna teach y'all some choreography. It goes like this.
Up, down, right, crisscross. Up, down, right, crisscross. Up, down, right, crisscross. Up, down, right, crisscross.
We on a daddy dada day now. Daddy dada day. Your turn.
Daddy dada day now. Daddy dada day.
We on a daddy dada day now. Daddy dada day. Come on.
Daddy dada day now. Daddy dada day.
I said daddy dada day. Hey, daddy dada day. Come on.
Daddy dada day. Daddy dada day.
Okay, daddy dada day now. Daddy dada day. You ready?
Daddy dada day now.
Hey.
Daddy dada day.
We said yeah. Daddy dada day, girl. What up?
Right now we can go anywhere you wanna. Roller skating
rink.
rink to the movies, chilling at the house. Maybe later on
We can go get up and then the flow. Yeah.
Cause that's really tasty.
Come on.
Lazy,
Stop and smell the daisies. Do what you want. Me and you in the car. Go play in the arcade or shop at the mall. You said
Ready for a wonderful day.
Come on.
Sunny outside, hope you're ready to play.
Okay, when your mama asks you how your day went,
you can
tell her daddy be your favorite. Sun is going down now. Get into your jammies.
Bedtime concert
Performing at your Grammys. Close your eyes and now we're sleepy. Now come on.
Tomorrow we're gonna press rewind.
Hey, daddy dada day now. Daddy dada day. Hey.
Daddy dada day now. Daddy dada day.
Come on, daddy dada day now, daddy dada day, come on.
Daddy dada day now. Daddy
Hold
dada
up,
day.
it goes up,
Down, right, crisscross. Up,
down, left, crisscross,
up, down,
right, crisscross.
up, down.
Bring it down for him, it goes.
Da 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 da.
So Jay Gunn couldn't be here with us today, but Stella's gonna show you how Jay Gunn's verse goes. Y'all ready? Hey, it goes daddy daughter day. It's a daddy daughter day.
And the sun is so much brighter when it's smiling on your face. Homies call to hit the bar. Tell him try another day. Rather be right where you are. We can hit your favorite place.
We can hit the museum, life and science, you see them. Animals and zoos even recognize the beauty in your smile as it radiates. How do we play and chase? Even if you doing nothing this time, we can never waste. Come on, we go and play. Me and you on a date. Hope nobody told mommy for dinner we order cake. Ice cream and chocolate, Lion King. You watched it at least 100 times just so you could hear him say
Huda Matata, that's what we do with our daughters. And a salute to the fathers.
doing it all to provide a model of who we should follow. Promise to God you know where to go. It's a daddy daughter day, bruh.
Fatherhood is dope.
Hey, daddy daughter day now, daddy daughter day.
Daddy daughter day now. Daddy daughter day.
Going on a daddy daughter day. It's a daddy daughter day. Come on.
Daddy daughter day now. Daddy daughter day.
Hey, daddy daughter day now, daddy daughter day. Up, down, right, crisscross. Up, down, left, crisscross. Up,
Down,
right, crisscross. Hey,
da da
do
da
do
da
do
da
do do.
da 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 da.
One more time, one more time.
Da 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 da.
Thank you.
Well, happy Sunday to everybody out there, man. Happy Daddy Daughter Day. I am your host, Kevin Borders, man. I'm excited to be in front of you all. I have my lovely daughters with me, whom you will see in a second. As the pictures are rotating, you'll see that, of course, I'm talking a little bit about myself really quickly. I am a husband, a proud husband at that, of a very, very beautiful young lady by the name of Brittany Borders. And of course, I'm a father of four. Two of them right here with me. We got our glitter going right now. They got their glitter dresses. That's I had to find something to match the babies. They couldn't outshine daddy on today. But like I said, man, we're going to be hosting today with you all. We have some amazing guests that we have some conversations prepared for you all. We're going to ask some questions to talk about what it means to be not just like a dad, but a father. And when you talk about being a father, that holds a little more weight because anybody can be a dad, but it takes a real man to step up and be a father. And so we have some amazing people coming on. Thank you to the DREF for allowing me to come on here and host this amazing event. And we're going to get ready to go after it. But I also got to throw this in. This is so important. I'm also a foster care advocate. I'm a foster parent myself. My wife and I, we foster kids, man, all the time. So we constantly have kids coming in and coming out. And it's a true pleasure and an honor to be able to be that father figure, no matter how short or how long the time period is for these babies and these young people out here in this world today. And so I just want to throw that plug in really quickly, but we're going to get ready to go ahead and jump into it. So stay tuned, stay plugged in. I want to announce our very first guest. You guys ready?
Yeah.
What's your name? I think I told everybody who you were, but what's your name? Dakota. And you are? Demi. A little bit about Demi. She's also a DJ. That's DJ Mimi. So if you have a show and event coming up, hey, book my baby. All right, book my baby. All right, and Dakota, she's an accomplished gymnast. Okay, they both do gymnastics, but Dakota is really into it. Demi loves karate. She loves karate. So we're going to be talking and chopping it up, guys. So I want to introduce to you all our very first guest on today. I'm going to read his bio to introduce him. Then he's going to join us on here for a few questions and things like that. All right. So coming your way is Mr. Pierce Freeland. I think I said that right. Freeland or Freeland. I don't want to jack it up, but I'm sure he'll correct me when the time is right. He's an accomplished hip hop, soul, electronic musician, an award-winning producer, director, and professor. On July 31st, 2020, he released his debut family album, DAD. That's an acronym, DAD, a dynamic and genuine collection inspired by his journey through fatherhood. The Electric Recording is a family journal chronicling the life and the times of a Black millennial father living in the South. Pierce is the son of famed Grammy-nominated jazz vocalist Nina Freeland and the late preeminent architect of the National Museum of African American History and Culture, Phil Freeland, and is a current member of the Durham, North Carolina City Council. Wow. Representing Ward 3, Pierce lives in Durham, North Carolina with his wife and their 2 young children. Mr. Freeland, how are you doing today, sir?
Muted. Oh, sorry, my mute was on. There we go. I'm here now. I'm doing good. Thank you.
Did I butcher your last name? Is it Freeland or Freeland? Like help.
It's Freeland. It was the second one. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Pierce Freeland. I apologize.
That's all good, my brother.
I tell you, man, when I knew you were coming on, I found out I had to watch the video because you have a music video that goes with that song. So I didn't even know you had that performance set up, but you also did. I think it was on a basketball court or something like that.
Yeah, my daughter Stella and I were playing tennis. But yeah, that performance that they played, I had no idea y'all were gonna play that, but we did a live concert yesterday. That was yesterday. And so that was really cool to see that. I wasn't expecting that.
So your face, I was watching you and your face lit up when they played the video. And I know that just can come from a father watching his baby participate in the arts with daddy. What was that like, you know, collaborating with your baby girl on that project?
It was dope. I mean, you know, it's funny on the recording, if you watch the music video of that song, you know, it's 2 men doing most of the rapping. It's me and Jay Gunn, who has a beautiful young daughter named Harlem. And, you know, we're grown men and we're MCs, so we're spitting. But when it came time to do the live performance, I was like, hey, Stella, do you want to come rock with us? You can do your part. Your part goes do. Like, she don't do no bars on the song. She's like, nah, I want to spit. I was like, oh, really? She said, yeah, I want to rap. I said, all right, babe, you got it. You want to rap? You got it. But you got to learn these cadences, though. And so if you go back and watch the video, you know, some of that is really complex. You know, this is what we do with the daughters. This is a salute to the fathers. Do what an adult to provide. Like, it's a mouthful. But watching her deliver those lines was really inspiring. I'm just like, yo, this little girl got bars. I couldn't rap like that at her age.
Got it honest, right? She got it from her daddy.
Right?
That is so cool, man. Like, so how, do you use music or the arts in any way to use that as a teaching tool? You know, as a dad to his child, to his girl. Like, in what ways do you use the arts to kind of show her? You know, because I believe more is caught than taught, right?
Yeah.
Our children, our babies learn by what they see more than what they hear coming out of our mouths.
Mm-hmm.
With that, and using the arts, and she's seeing you perform and put music together, how do you use that at times to teach her even life lessons?
Yeah, well, to me, I think parenting is an art form. Like you have to be able to improvise, think on your toes. It's a creative practice. So, on a song, there's a song on my album called "Gather Your Clothes." That song was originally just something that I did. I was like, if you need to gather your clothes and put them with double to go. Like I was just telling them in a playful way to do what they're supposed to do, what they already know they're supposed to be doing. But the thing is that as a musician, you can sample that, just like DJ Premier or Kanye West samples a old soul record. You can take a voice memo of you being silly with your kids and you can sample that into a beat. So that's been the funnest process for me is utilizing the technology around us and our smartphones and to create and show them how a producer goes to manipulate that. And I gotta say, you said DJ Mimi was a DJ, right? Your daughter. I'm sure like that smile on your face, you learn the technical skills, that's part of it. But when you're watching her DJ, I mean, it's gotta warm your heart. That's a young entrepreneur out there making their art and doing their thing. So I just want to put on record that I would like to hire DJ Mimi for a gig if you'd be down to do a DJ virtual concert. I'm trying to what's your rate? What do you charge? I'm trying to hire.
Yeah, I will be honored.
I'll be honored.
That is so cool, man. So how your daughter is she's thinking about picking up music herself just from watching you?
Definitely. And she's a business-minded young lady. Like she asks interesting questions like, so when that song plays on Spotify, like how much money do I get? She's like, I'm like, okay, you little entrepreneur, and I explained to her like, when you sing something that someone else wrote, they actually get paid the royalties because the writer, is the one who gets the money. You get a one-time fee for performing, but if you want to get paid making music, you need to write. So then she started writing her own songs. So, I grew up in a musical family. You mentioned my mother, Nina, is a Grammy-nominated jazz vocalist. So I grew up in a household where I was backstage at concerts and touring with my mom, and it was just her job. So I'm excited to see what my daughter will do. If she pursues a career in music, or she's really into pets, so she might be a veterinarian. Who knows? But I know that she's understanding business in addition to the creative side by watching me, and I love the questions she asks around the business.
Like the business side of things, I think is very important because that's teaching them financial literacy.
Right.
Age. But I wanted to just again piggyback on the music component because music is the essence and it's the heartbeat of the culture. And the fact that it's so influential for young people these days. What would your take be on influencing our babies who are into music?
Yeah.
Trying to help them continue to push a positive message in music, although that sometimes isn't the popular thing to hear.
Right.
Giving them those values, to
Mm-hmm.
continue a positive message that builds one another and not tear one another down.
Yeah, that's a really great question. And, I grew up listening to and loving hip hop that was probably not appropriate for my age when I was listening to it, and that's just, it's because the beat is hot and the storytelling is so vivid. So for me as a parent, it was hard because I can't play them the music that I listen to when I'm driving them to school. But guess what? There are artists out there that do incredible music that is age appropriate. People like Bob Marley. You wouldn't consider Bob Marley a children's musician, but you listen to his lyrics, it's thoughtful, it's great to listen to, it's intergenerational. And so for me, it became important for me to use hip hop to make music in that vein that families can listen to and enjoy, but the beat knocks, the bars are heavy. We're not in there like, you know what I mean? It's not Barney, it's not Baby Shark, it's bars, like it's real life bars, but the song titles and song concepts rather, and storytelling through the lyrics is storytelling about things that we deal with as fathers. So that's the spirit of DAD, and I'm really, what a time to be releasing such an important project, I think, because as the other thing too about hip hop specifically, there's a lot of Black men in hip hop, and they reinforce the stereotype about what Black men are about and the kind of culture and the people we are. And you don't often see Black men portrayed in the media as nurturers, as, silly, as loving, as caring. So I thought that was really important too, that we put in the forefront dads and all of our, and all of our abundance as loving members of a committed family.
No, absolutely, man. And so is she your own, she's not your only daughter, right?
No, she's my only daughter. I have a son named Justice, who's 11. She's 10. But yeah, she's my only girl. Mm-hmm.
You had your baby girl. I knew what it was like when my boys came along, but there's something about the baby girl, right? That just immediately that nurturer inside of me just came to life, and that protector became even more prevalent, and prepared and ready. What did having a daughter do to you as a man, and then of course as a father? Like, how did it's on the job training, like you said, right? Like, you can't prepare fatherhood, but like, how did your perspective and your views on life change when baby girl came into the picture? It's like, man, this is happening. This is it.
Yeah, well, let me start by, I'm gonna apologize first, because I'm about to reveal something that is a little embarrassing. So when I was, before I became a father, I told my wife, I want to have 4 kids. I hope they're all boys. We could start a football team. We could show up at the basketball court and run anybody, like 5 of us, all as a team. And when we had my daughter, my world completely changed. I am so blessed to have a daughter in my household. The way she holds me accountable, the way she keeps me on my toes, the way I feel, protective over her and protected by her. I'm like watching the way that my sister is caring for my parents. I'm like, ooh-wee, I'm glad I have a daughter. Like, it's wild to me how beautiful and powerful and mystical, Black female energy is. And, I just feel blessed. I'm glad I didn't get what I asked for. I got no business with no 4 boys. I'm so glad I have my daughter. I wish I had one more. I'll talk to my wife about that, see if we can work something out. But, I'm glad I was wrong. The stereotype around, that I had in my mind around what fatherhood would be was completely different from reality. And I thank my daughter for transforming my perspective on that.
Oh, that's so good. I have one more question I want to ask you, and then we're going to have to move on to the next guest. You have something you want to say? Oh, okay, all right. So I'm gonna shift gears on you real quick. I want to ask you about your running for city council. So it's clear you have a passion for music and arts, but what motivated you to run for city council of Durham, North Carolina? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, well, as a musician and as an artist, I'm in the community. I'm in the community centers and the church basements and I'm at the music venues and I'm deeply entrenched in the community. That's the type of music and the type of person that I am. And for me, I saw that there was a big lack in government, not just local government, state, national, all the way up. There aren't a lot of young Black men, young Black millennials like myself involved in politics. And there's a lack of imagination. They're out of ideas, And so the idea that an artist, a creative, can take political power and use some of the same tools they use to produce a good, bar of poetry or a dope rhyme. Like, you need that same ability to think on your toes and to improvise when you're in these spaces where people are making decisions. So for me, like, I'm completely inspired by like Maya Angelou. She has a poem called A Pledge to Our Youth, where she talks about building clean and well-furnished schools, safe and non-threatening streets, employment which makes use of our talents but does not degrade our dignity. That's Maya Angelou. That's a poem. But I made that poem my platform when I ran for office, because I think artists have all the tools we need to be leaders. And I was just appointed to city council about a month and a half ago. So I've been almost 2 months on the job on Durham City Council. And I can already tell how my presence there has transformed the culture of the council. You know, I'm the only local Durham native that's on the council, and the way that I think and my ideas have been just in the 6 weeks I've been on the job have already had tangible contributions to the culture of our local politics. So I encourage everyone out there, your daughters, girls out there listening, we need more of your brilliant minds in the arts. We need more of your brilliant minds in politics as well.
That's good. That's so good. Thank you for that encouraging message. I think that's important for young people to know that look like us, you know, our skin color, like, hey, I can do the things that I didn't normally see others do. And so congratulations to you, man, on your appointment. I wish you much success in your future endeavors in the political arena and in the music and the arts world as well, man. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, my brother. Peace.
Much love to you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our next guest, but just show some love for Mr. Pierce, man. Thank him so very much for his time and attention on Daddy-Daughter Day. All right, so coming your way is going to be Mr. Fred Whitaker Jr. Mr. Fred Whitaker Jr. is the CEO and manager of Journey Enterprises. He's a talent management and consulting firm working with artists such as Terrence J. You might know Terrence J. Maybe Lala, Anthony, Angela Simmons, these names ring a bell, or Angela Yee. How about that? Breakfast Club in the building. Fred is also the co-author of Come on a Journey with Me, a children's book which highlights great Black fathers, the Black culture, and the importance of children who are less fortunate to experience traveling outside of their own communities. Fred proves, as his company motto states, it is the little things you do in life that makes all the difference. Fred has also worked alongside major corporations such as Boys and Girls Club, McDonald's, and Disney Dream Academy. In addition to his clients, Fred has diligently made strides in his own career by producing an HBCU 101 TV series and a book series while co-founding the HBCU Experience and owning Atomic Wings franchise restaurant. He's a busy man, ladies and gentlemen. If you would, please show some love to Mr. Fred Whitaker Jr.
All right, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, man? How you doing?
How's it going, Fred? Man, you're out here doing a lot of things, man. That's amazing. You're a business owner. I mean, like, what don't you do? Like, what do you not do?
I mean, listen, you know, my mentality is we have 24 hours in a day, so I try to utilize every hour in a day and try to be as impactful as much as possible, no matter if it's, you know, working with a client, working with my franchise, working with my TV show, or just hanging out with the girls, man, you know, just trying to make every moment count.
Oh, man, that's what's up, man. So what are the babies' names? I know you have Journey is one of them, correct?
Yes, this is Journey right here, and this is Briley. So Briley is also, this is my niece. Briley's also, they're waving at you guys. You know, they can see y'all, right? Y'all can. The book that I did, Come on a Journey with Me, is basically about these two guys going on an adventure together in just multiple different cities with our dog Oreo and just learning different cultures while they're in these major cities.
No, that's what's up, man. Amen. So thanks again for being on with us. Ladies, you look absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
I got a couple questions, like I said, man, and we're going to get right through this thing. So here we go. First question. We often hear the phrase, it takes a village, right? And why is it important to step in and step up and expose young people other than your biological daughter to Black history and culture? Did you understand that question?
Yeah, I get it. I understand that. I think it's important and is unique because a lot of people always see, you know, Briley with Journey and a lot of people might not know, but at a young age, you know, Briley lost her dad. So for me, it was just one of those things of, I know I can never replace her dad, but I can also be a part of that village to help raise her and help be a man figure, to be a father figure, to be in her life, that she knows that if she ever needs anything, she can come to me. If she ever want to talk about anything, she can come to me. And then just being there for her so she can have the same opportunities as Journey as well too, even though, you know, they're first cousins. So I mean, I think it's important. I mean, I think even with me growing up, you know, while my mother and father was at work, the village was my grandparents, the village was my uncles and aunts that was there taking care of me and my brothers and sisters and making sure that we had something to eat when my mother was working extra hours or they was coming home late. So I think it's overly important. And then, you know, when it comes to the culture, for me, as much as I travel, I try to explain to Journey and Bradley that there are more things out there in the world for you to see, especially from the Black culture, and just learning about your history and just knowing, you know, what got us to the point that we are at today.
Okay, okay. I love the motto, of course, the village, and I love how you have stepped in to be that father figure. I'm being a foster care parent myself. I see that, you know, oftentimes in my life, I'm stepping in different ways. I'm also a youth pastor, so I'm stepping in different ways for other young people. What would you say is the significance or the importance for men specifically to step in and be a mentor, or to be that father figure for young people all across this nation that are lacking in that department? Like, what would you say to them?
I mean, I think it's really important. You'll be amazed at how you can change somebody's life by just giving them your time, by just giving them a little bit of advice, or by just being there for them, just being that ear for them to talk on. So I think it's really important. And a lot of my friends and a lot of my frat brothers, you know, we have these conversations all the time on how we can give back to the community, because we were beyond blessed to have people in our life. So it's like, why not reach back and pull forward as well too? So I think it's really important, man. And like I said, you know, at the end of the day, it's showing the younger generation that somebody actually cares about them. Somebody actually is there for them and wants to see them succeed in life. And, you know, the things that you instill in them, you want them to instill that into the next generation after them as well too. And that's how we can continue to move forward as a people.
Oh, that's good, man. That's so good. I have a question for Journey. Journey, you ready for your question?
Yes.
All right, here we go. So, were you all excited to be a part of writing the book? And what was your favorite part about visiting New York?
I was really excited to be part of the book, and the best part about visiting New York is to learn the culture and to visit Central Park.
You visited Central Park? I don't think I've ever been to Central Park, ladies. What, have you been to Central Park? No. I've never been to Central. I've been to New York, but I've never been to Central Park. What was Central Park like?
It's a really popular park in New York City.
The adventures you can do in New York, I mean, Central Park, where you can do the horse riding, you know, you can just lay out in the park. They have festivals, they have events going on that you can just be a part of. So they really enjoy that in the summertime.
That's so cool. So I want to talk a little bit about, you know, you said you co-authored the book with your sister, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I'm sure Journey and Riley gave their input, but how important was it for you to include their perspectives in the book?
For me, it was very important, because doing the amount of love that we've received from this book is amazing and shocking, because honestly, doing this book, it was kind of like just a project that I wanted to do something with the girls to empower them, empower my sister, but then at the same time, let them know that, you know, if we put a plan to it and we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And these are the steps that we're going to do. So it was just one of those things where I would just ask them questions like, you know, okay, guys, we got this book. How should we market this book? How do you guys want to promote the book? Like, what do you guys want to do? What should be in the book? How do you guys look? Does this character look like you? Does this character look like you? So their input, you know, was very vital. And on top of that, you know, unfortunately, I'm older, so this is a children's book. So for them, their input was very important, because I want other kids to be interested in reading the book and picking the book up. So that's why we did it the way we did, with the coloring and the designing, because we wanted to be able to catch children's attention and not lose their attention when they grab the book.
No, that's good. I believe when you empower young people to feel like they have ownership of something or say in something, that gives them that feeling of empowerment. You know, that I can do these things that I always hear people tell me I can do, but when somebody steps in my life and gives me the ability and the resources and the know-how to have input on certain things, man, that's the empowerment that I truly believe our young, you know, Black people.
Absolutely.
So I got a very, very important question I got to ask you before we wrap things up, okay? Busy man, a lot of us have busy lives. We do multiple things. Everybody's trying to multitask, but juggling your demanding schedule and personal life, How do you make sure that you set aside time for the family?
I mean, family's the most important. It's family first. And, you know, if not, I know Journey and Bradley both will be calling me like, hey, where you at? You said you was coming to get us. Hey, you said we was going here. You said we was going, and you know, when you say something to your child or to your children, they remember. They might not remember they're supposed to do homework or wake up at a certain time. But if you say you're going to Disneyland, oh, they're going to remind you until you get to Disneyland. So, I mean, family is everything to me. You know, I was very blessed to have a large family growing up. So I know the importance of, you know, bonding and spending time with your family and doing things with your family. So that's super important. And, you know, these two young ladies, they give me my motivation, man. They inspire me to want to be better. And they inspire me to also make sure that I'm giving back and I'm teaching them how to give back, so that way we are creating a legacy moving forward that they hopefully, and they will be doing the things that I'm doing now when they get older as well.
Yeah, man, you're leading by example, man. And that's the biggest thing that I'm gathering even from your story. You're showing these young ladies the path and the way to go, not just talking about it. And I live by that, just showing these young people what it means to love, what it means to care, what it means to nurture. And as a Black father, man, unfortunately, we know that that's a missing component in the family, you know?
No, it is, but I always relate as a message like, yo, fatherhood is dope. Fatherhood is cool, man. Like, I don't know what stereotype or what other narrative that people be hearing, but from my experience and from the circles that I'm in, man, fatherhood is dope. Like, we all inspire each other to want to be better and inspire each other to be in our kids' life. Like that's what it's all about, man. It's all about your legacy, and it's all about teaching your kids and taking care of your responsibility, man. Some people look at responsibility as a job, or responsibility is a blessing, man. It truly is a blessing. And I'm the king of team daddy daycare, team fatherhood. Like I'm all about it, man. I love spending time with these girls, man. I'd rather hang out with them than hang out with my friends, man. I have way more fun with them.
What? No, you didn't say that. No, I agree with you, man. I wholeheartedly agree. Riley, I gotta ask you a question real quick. I want to know, like, what kind of cool and fun things do you guys all do together? Well, just give me an example of a couple things.
We travel a lot together, and it's really fun going places with them because we just do so many fun things.
Cool, like, give me one.
We've been to Atlanta, California. Yeah.
Disneyland. Journey keep whispering Disneyland.
I'm a grown man, and I still like Disneyland. So, okay, I'll go to Disneyland, Animal Kingdom. If it's a Disney park, I am there.
Absolutely.
Park, right? So, and they're responsible for it, right? So they keep you young, they keep you moving, they keep you vibrant, on your toes, like, you know.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're taking them there, but at the same time, you're having more fun because you're like, oh, okay. Like, you guys want to go do this? And they're like, no, we want to go do this. I'm like, well, let's just try this. But all in all, I want to go and do it, but I can't see like I want to do it.
You can't, but low key, like, you're there for you. Like, I'm not mad. And you said something that really made my day. You just said fatherhood is dope, man. Fatherhood is dope. That is highlighting some of the greatest things about the responsibility that we've been granted and given. This is something that I treasure. That is something that you treasure. And it's apparent, it's evident. You've done so many things to resource it and to raise awareness about it. Tell me this, where can people get the book?
Where can people get the book, guys?
www.comeonajourney.com.
It's www.comeonajourney.com.
Awesome. And matter of fact, I want to make sure I pick up the book, and I hope everybody out there that's watching, you pick up the book and support this young Black father, man, who's doing it big in a major way and raising two beautiful queens, man. So I appreciate your time, Fred, and thank you so very much for all the nuggets and the pointers you've given all of us on today.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having us, man.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Away. Good to see you.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of fun. I think I might be enjoying this more than anybody right now on the platform. But we're going to keep it right on moving. Let me make sure I have my paperwork together. Here we go. We have Mr. Devin Steele, who's coming to us next. All right, y'all may recognize the name, but I'm gonna read you a little bit about him. Mr. Devin Steele is a former professional athlete. He's an entrepreneur, he's a motivational speaker, an advocate for childhood cancer awareness. His demonstration for unconditional love to his daughter, Leah, during her diagnosis and fight with a rare pediatric cancer caught the world's attention. The sacrifice and selflessness exhibited during the most challenging time of his life is truly, truly inspirational. We're going to watch this video clip real quick, and after that, we're going to have a little conversation with Mr. Devin Steele.
Who you want to win?
The Heat.
You want the Heat to win? Say go Heat.
Go Heat.
Don't mind.
In September of 2014, I met Devin Steele, a third-year veteran with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Thank you, Santa, for buying me my Barbie house. I love you, Santa.
Say hooray!
Hooray!
Hey, hooray!
Let me see. Hooray!
Just before training camp, doctors diagnosed his daughter Leah with neuroblastoma, a rare form of pediatric cancer with a 50% chance of survival. She was only 4 years old.
What scares you the most?
I don't want to lose my daughter. And it scares me to death that she has a chance of not being here.
You gonna be just like this. And we gonna look just like twins.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Except my hair gonna go back like Pop. Yours gonna be like Rapunzel.
For months, Leah endured intense rounds of chemotherapy, radiation, and surgeries. But through the pain, Devin and Leah smiled.
Hey, everybody.
You ready to get this cancer about you? Let's do it.
And with the hashtags Leah Strong and Still Strong, the backup tackle and his baby girl captured a nation.
When we traveled, you would see people wearing that 75, regardless of what team they actually supported, they supported him. And, you know, the awareness that he was bringing to cancer and what he was going through fighting with his daughter.
And Devin and Leah Steele are joining us. They deserve a standing ovation. Yes!
One of the hardest things for me to do was to go through what I was going through in front of a lens. But I knew I needed to try to be as vulnerable as I possibly could during that time so people can really see, you know, what families who are battling cancer are going through.
In March of 2015, 296 days after she was diagnosed with cancer, Leah was finally in remission. 4 months later, the ESPYs honored Devin and Leah with the Jimmy V Perseverance Award. Leah was unable to attend, recovering from a stem cell transplant, but she still stole the show.
Sorry I couldn't be here, everybody, but thank you for supporting me while I did have cancer. You were my hey, Daddy.
Another show-stealing moment for Leah, May 13th, 2016. She was a flower girl as Devin married her new stepmom, Asha.
We made it through the storm. We've been through hell, and we stood there for each other. And as I look you in the eyes right now, I promise you, whatever I have to do to make sure the rest of your days are sunny and beautiful, I'm gonna do it.
I'll never forget that day. For me, it was a culmination, you know, a conclusion to what our family was going through. We always wanted to see her walk down the aisle as the flower girl, healthy, without cancer in her body. It was just beautiful. It was a blessing.
This is 9-year-old Leah today.
Clifford is so hard to draw.
Let me see what you got so far. No, that's fine. That was good. Trust yourself, girl.
The hardest part was just seeing my family cry, because then it would just make me cry.
That was harder for you than some of the pain you were having to deal with?
Mm-hmm.
The Still family say they're in the 4th quarter of their cancer battle, but face the occasional scare that it's returned.
Guess what, guys? We got good news. The scans were clear.
Now Leah and so many of us wait patiently for March, when doctors can officially say she's cancer-free.
My dad told me that I'm strong and that I can make it through anything.
I asked you this 5 years ago. I'm going to ask you again. What scares you the most?
When I remember you asked me that question, and I said that I didn't want to lose my daughter. Now that we've been able to make it through the storm, I'm not scared of anything. Because that was probably my worst fear in life, and understanding that we had the courage and the strength to overcome that. Whatever life throws at us, we're just going to accept that challenge.
Wow. Devin, man. First of all, thank you for us on today. I'm trying to get my emotions in check right now, because that's not something that you just see every day. And it reminded me of a bout I had with even my babies, having twins. Actually, Demi here was, told that she wouldn't make it to childbirth.
Wow.
Kept her, she would kill Dakota. And so I kind of know what it's like to have that pain in your heart, knowing that you may not see one of them, but our faith remains strong. Man, just tell me, what was that process like, when you first got diagnosed with it? What hit you? What was going through your mind? You know what I mean? Like, how did you begin to deal with it and cope? Like help us out with that.
Yeah, it was tough. Because I think every dad, every parent, when they, watch their child be born, when they come into this world, we all have that, unspoken promise, where we promise to protect and to provide for our kid as much as possible, the best that we can. And when Leah was diagnosed with cancer, I felt like, in a sense, I had broken that promise. Because there were a lot of days where I questioned myself, like, what could I have done better to prevent this from happening? Could I have gave her different foods, different things to drink? And it just really harped on my mind for a long time. But I then realized that we can't protect our kids from everything, right? We can't protect them from the pain that they go through in life. And we shouldn't, because some pain is good pain. Because only when you go through stuff do you really find out who you truly are. And a lot of times pain really produces purpose. It produces passion in their lives. So I think that it's our jobs as parents to not allow them to go through that pain alone, to let them know they don't have to walk through those dark times alone, and just be by their side. And that's what I eventually decided to do. I stopped focusing on what I could have done in the past. I focus on right now, what I can do in that moment to let my daughter know that she wasn't alone. And that's what I did.
Wow, man, you're talking good already. You're talking good. I just want to, because I believe in total transparency, man. I believe in just keeping your
right.
Growth. What would you say was one of the darkest days of the entire ordeal during her battle? Of course, your faith was tested. I'm sure. And how did you maintain the focus? Like, did you have this mentality in your mind, like, okay, no, my baby's going to beat this, and did you hold on to that? At the beginning, when did you ever feel like you had a moment where you were ready to crumble and you didn't have what it took? Kind of tell us maybe if you dealt with anything of that sort.
Yeah, so there was 2 instances where I felt like I had my weakest moments, where I wanted to give up and I questioned a lot of things. You just brought up faith, so I'll speak on that. During that second year, Leah got diagnosed when I was in my second year in the NFL. And that second year in the NFL, I was going through a lot of stuff. Like, I had just dislocated my elbow when we was playing against the Lions. 5 weeks after that, I blew out my back and I had to get back surgery after playing against the Steelers. And then a week after getting back surgery, I almost died from blood clots in my lungs. So I was going through a lot, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, everything. And my wife suggested that, maybe we should start working on a closer relationship with God. Maybe we should start going back to church, because I didn't grow up in the church. I didn't grow up in a household where God was really put first. But I trusted my wife that she was guiding me down the right path. So we decided to go back to church and start building that relationship with God. And then eventually we decided to take our walk of faith a step further, and we got baptized together. And it was in that moment that I felt like by giving my life to God, that everything was going to be easy in my life, that I wouldn't have to deal with a lot of the obstacles I was going through. See, that's that new faith talking. I didn't really understand, that the enemy really attacks you once he sees that you're trying to build that closer relationship with God. So 2 months after us getting baptized, that's when Leah got diagnosed with cancer. So I was going through it. I just had this newfound faith. It wasn't, strong in the foundation just yet. So I questioned a lot about it. Like, how could this happen to my daughter when I just gave my life to you, God? Like, aren't you supposed to protect my daughter? So I struggled with that a lot in the beginning. But as time went on, I realized that maybe it wasn't God allowing this to happen to my daughter, but it was him revealing what was happening to my daughter, because she had stage 4 cancer, which means it had been in her body for a long time without us knowing. So maybe this was a wake-up call to allow us the fighting chance to go out there and save my daughter's life. So that's the approach I started to take with it, that God wasn't allowing this to happen to my daughter, but it was allowing it to happen for my daughter so that she could be healed. The second time that I really started to question whether I had the strength to move on was after Leah finished her first clinical trial, because she went through 2 clinical trials as she was battling cancer. And the first one, the doctors were really high on. It was called an MIBG, which is a radiation therapy. She had to go through 4 months of high dosage chemo, followed by 5 days of radiation by herself. And, when we went to get the scans done after she finished up all her treatment, we thought that the doctor was going to come back and tell us that everything was good, that she was in remission, that she was healed, because they were so high on this treatment. But they in fact told us that the cancer had spread all over her body, that originally it was just in her hip, to now it was in her chest, her shoulders, her back, her neck, and even her skull. And it was in that moment that I really thought that my daughter was going to die, that I was preparing myself for that moment to happen. But I remember the lesson that I learned when I was playing football, where our coach used to tell us that we have to fight for 4 quarters, right? It doesn't matter what the scoreboard says. It doesn't matter how much pain you're in. It doesn't matter how tired you are. You have to give it everything you have for 4 quarters, because if there's still time on the clock, you have a chance to change the game. And I took that approach when it came to Leah's battle, that if there was still time on the clock, meaning if she still had breath in her lungs, I still had breath in my lungs, that we was going to continue to fight this thing. And that's exactly what we did. And we ended up putting her into a new clinical trial a couple of weeks later. And about 2 months after her going through this clinical trial, she ended up going completely into remission. So what I would say to that is, I've had a lot of weak moments during Leah's battle with cancer, but I never allowed those weak moments to turn into a weak mindset. And I think that it's important for people, allow them to have those weak moments, to cry, to scream, to let out whatever frustration that they're going through, and then get back to the task at hand, which we had to do a lot.
I got it. You said something just now. I got to pull that out. You said don't allow a weak moment or moments to turn into a weak mindset.
Right.
Bro,
right.
Drop the mic, man. Like, okay, can you just expound a little bit more for all of us on what you mean? I know what you mean by that, but kind of unpack it a little bit more for us.
Yeah. So like I said, there were times where, like when I was in Cincinnati, because Leah was getting treated in Philadelphia, which is 500 miles away from me, but I had to travel back and forth because I needed the health insurance in order to pay for her treatment. So there would be times where I would FaceTime her while she was getting treatment, and literally, one day she had her eyebrows, the next day she didn't have her eyebrows, right? Because the chemo made them fall out. She had a bunch of tubes hooked up to her. She looked lethargic. She looked like she just wanted her dad to be there with her, to hug her, kiss her, lay in the hospital bed with her, and let her know that it was okay. And those moments completely crushed me because I couldn't do it. And I knew at 4 years old, she didn't understand the sacrifice that her dad was making. She just knew that she wanted her dad to be there, and I wasn't. So there were a lot of times where when I hung up the phone, I just broke down crying. And I wanted to quit playing football. I wanted to go back home. I wanted to just give up because I didn't think that I was strong enough to make it through that storm that we were going through. But what I did was I allowed myself to have those moments, to cry out, to tell my wife what I was going through, to be frustrated, to scream, yell, whatever I needed to do. And then once I wiped those tears away, I realized what I needed to do. Like I realized I had to stay out there in Cincinnati in order to have that health insurance to pay for Leah to get the best treatment possible. And then when I had free time, I would fly back and forth to Philadelphia to be there with her. So I allowed myself to have those moments, but I got out of those moments and didn't allow it to become a mindset and make me feel like I really couldn't, overcome the storm.
So I do want to add this so everybody does know. I know that she's been, as of March 25th of this year, she's free for 5 years. Is that
Oh,
correct?
she's good. She's good now. She's cancer free.
And so there is, of course, victory and light at the end of this story.
Yeah.
But the emotions that you were exuding, during these moments. Did you ever have somebody who stepped in and would help you deal with your mental state, maybe your mental health? Because I know that could even be challenged during a period of time like that. Did you have somebody who you were able to confide in? Of course, you have your wife, but you have another male or anybody who was in your life that you could just dump things on to help you get stuff off your chest?
There was two people I really leaned on, and that was my wife and God. My wife was there with me every day. When the cameras weren't on, when we were in the house and we were going through it. So she was somebody that I really leaned on. She's the one that really, was somebody that I can lean on when I was going through a lot of the struggles I was going through. And of course, God was there every step of the way. Just being able to have faith that he was going to pull us through that was very important, because I believe that if you have, faith or hope in your future, it gives you power in your present. Only when people feel like their future can't be better, there's no better future for them, do they give up. So just understanding that God was going to pull this through it and having him put my wife in my life at the right time, I think was very important, because I had just made it to the NFL. Like I had no plans on having a serious relationship. Like I wanted to live that NFL lifestyle, but I ended up meeting my wife as soon as I got drafted, and it was just like a connection right off the bat. And I don't know if it's because we was born the same day or the same year, and I felt like God had just created us for each other. But I felt like he brought her in my life at the perfect time, because I realized that if I didn't have her, if I didn't have that relationship, I would have never had a relationship with God, because she's the one that brought me back to God, and I wouldn't have had the strength to really overcome what we were going through.
No, that's good, and I really ask that because I know sometimes as fathers, sometimes we feel like we are the pillars and the cornerstones of our family, but sometimes we feel like we have to always be there. We can't be weak in front of our spouses, if that's your situation. And I know for me specifically, just hearing you talk, the moments where I had even with Demi and Dakota, my wife was honestly the one who I kind of stood on her faith. Her faith kind of held me up during certain times, man. So when you say that, man, it's just encouraging
Right.
to hear that. So, but I want to also bring up one more thing as time winds down for us. You and your baby girl, you guys both are authors and have written books, share personal stories,
Right.
experiences, and so clearly literacy is important. How do you encourage continued creativity and self-expression in the home?
Yeah, so I realized at a early age just how important literacy was. And I tell you this, I grew up in a tough environment that was really stricken with a lot of drugs and poverty and violence. And if it wasn't for books, if it wasn't for certain shows or music that I was listening to, I don't think I would have made it to the level of success that I've made it to. Because one thing that books or the right music or the right TV shows allows you to do is it allows you to escape your reality, right? I was able to see outside of the environment that I was growing up in, and allowed me to know that there was much more out there in the world for me. Because I think that sometimes we can be consumed by our environment and think that that's all the world has to offer. But just picking up a book and being able to read somebody else's perspective about life allows you to see, well, look, there's other things out there that I can strive and achieve for. So right now, the way that we try to do that is, continue to read. We try to read about 5 books a month. Just making sure that she's just consuming the best content for her to help nurture her, nurture her mind to become the type of woman that she wants to be.
Sweet, man, sweet. I condone. I'm an advocate for that as well, man. Literacy is one of the keys to success. That's good to hear. Tell me about this strawberry cake thing that give us. What?
Yeah. Right. So that just happened with my daughter Aria's first birthday. You know, being in quarantine has been a struggle, not only for our family, but for families all across the world, just, you know, trying to find ways to stay sane. And I know our family, my wife, we were all looking forward to having a big first birthday celebration for our daughter Aria, but we wasn't able to do that because of quarantine. And we live in Houston. Our family lives in Delaware, so we weren't able to celebrate with them. So I just came up with this bright idea that I wanted to do something special for Aria. Now, I don't bake cakes. I don't do none of that, but I am a YouTuber, right? So I go on YouTube to find out how to do a lot of stuff, whether it's, you know, making stuff or fixing stuff around the house or doing stuff like the cake. So I brought the idea up to my wife. I was like, look, I know you want to go to this nice bakery and order this cake for Aria, but I want to do something special for her and just, you know, make a cake out of love. It might turn out terrible, but she knows it's made out of love. And at first my wife was like, no, like, you know, there's no way I'm letting you make the cake. You can make the cupcakes or something, like, but you're not messing up the cake. Like, I want to have some good pictures for her. But I was like, look, just trust me. This can be a moment where me and you share to do something together special for our daughter. So I try to find a crafty way to pitch it to her so she allowed me to do it. And she did. And we went on YouTube. We learned how to make the strawberry cake, and we put it together for Aria, and it turned out great. And it was just special because it came from both of her parents. It was made out of love.
Yeah, out of love, man. So how important are creating memories with your kids? Like, how important is that to you?
To me, I think creating memories is everything. Creating special moments in life is everything, because I believe that life is made up of moments. It's made up of memories. You don't go through life remembering every second of your life. You remember the moments of your life. Either they're going to be bad moments or they're going to be good moments. And there was a point in time in my life when Leah got diagnosed with cancer that I realized the only thing we had left was memories. Like, if we lost Leah, the only thing we would have to move forward is the memories that we created. And luckily, we created a lot of memories early on in our life, and we still have memories to create. But it just allows me to understand how important creating those memories and moments with your family is, because life is short and it can be gone any minute. You want to make sure that you have the best moments and memories to hold on to.
Yeah, no question, man. Memories are a big thing. I know in our household, and I know my mother-in-law, she's big on memories, of course. Did you hear this one right here?
I didn't hear.
Want me to make her a cake. I'm like you. I don't know how that cake's gonna turn out.
I put the pressure on a lot of people. I'll send you over the YouTube video so you can learn from the same lady I did.
Please, man. YouTube University has me plenty of times.
Oh, man.
I guess that'll be a memory, right? They be like, oh, Daddy, jack the cake.
Yeah, definitely.
He tried.
Oh, man.
Memories are important, man. We create those things. And
yeah.
I remember my father-in-law told me a long time ago, he said, a man does what a man does what he has to do even when he doesn't feel like it. And those words were
right.
To me, man, because oftentimes I know even in fatherhood, there are many times where we don't feel like doing something. You know what I mean? We don't feel we don't feel like all the back and forth to the hospitals. We don't feel like sleeping over.
Right.
We don't feel like these things. But a man, a father specifically, steps up in those moments and does what he has to do even when he doesn't feel like it. And so I'm getting that. That's the gist of your story, man. Like, you went through so much early on, you know, in your career and father, marriage and career in the NFL. Like, so much was thrown at you at one time, man. But I got to commend you on a job well done in managing and handling and taking care of your family the way you did. And of course, your faith in God, I know, is what really helps you get through that at the end of the day, man. And so I appreciate your story. I appreciate you opening up and telling us about these things, even these vulnerable moments. I know personally, even though I'm the host, I've learned from your story today. And I appreciate the time and attention you've given us on this day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, and
Thank you. I appreciate you having me a part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned the co-author thing earlier. I wanted to make sure I plugged that in. And where can people get these books?
Oh, so my book you can get on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, wherever you find books. It's called Still in the Game: Finding the Faith to Tackle Life's Biggest Obstacles, and it's basically a playbook that I use throughout my life to overcome all the obstacles. I basically talk about how, you know, throughout my life I had to go through a lot of obstacles, but I felt like God was preparing me for that moment that Leah was diagnosed with cancer, because that's how I learned all my lessons in order to deal with that situation. So you can get that on Amazon, anywhere you find books. You can get Leah Strong, which is Leah's book. Is a book that we came up with because during her battle with cancer, we felt like there was no book to really let us know what we were in for, right? There was no book to explain to Leah what she was about to go through. So what we did was we created a book from a kid's perspective to talk about, you know, how she was able to deal with that situation, so that other parents can have a playbook on how to describe to their child what they're about to go through. And her books are also on Amazon. They're on my website, devinstillinthegame.com.
Still in the game, man. I love it. I love it, man. Thank you once again, sir. Hey, and enjoy the rest of your daddy-daughter day.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's just show love to all of our guests on today. And as we wrap things up on today, let's be reminded. Here's a quote that I heard long ago. It went like this: "The strength of every nation is determined by the male population." And I just want to just encourage all my fathers out there to just continue to stay in the game, as Devin said, man. Life consists of 4 quarters. And no matter what you've been through in fatherhood, no matter how inadequate we may feel, myself included, at times, this is an on-the-job training kind of situation. And just know that, man, if you keep the faith and hope and trust in God, that He's going to lead you and guide you into what it looks like to be the ideal father in your child's lives. And so I know, of course, with Demi and Dakota, I'm looking to be the absolute best, most magnificent daddy, father that I can be to them in the years to come. So thank you all for your attention on today and your time as we get ready to wrap up. If I could just say a quick prayer and close the discussion out, then I'm going to turn things back over to the DREF organization. So you guys ready?
Yes.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah. Whoa. No. It's going to be wrong.
okay. It's wait a minute. Wait. I pray long?
Oh, yes.
I do not pray. Okay, you know
We
what?
are like
Sing
that.
right. This is disrespectful right now. You guys are going to, right now, Coda, we're going to do this right now. Mimi, thank you for sitting there so eloquently, so nice.
Why you do pray long?
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say this prayer and go tend to some fatherly duties.
Me, I'm doing prayer.
You going to do the prayer?
The kid prayer.
The kid prayer? That's the short prayer? About the food? There's no food? Okay.
Actually, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Water.
All right. So Father, we come before you, just thank you for this opportunity and this time that we've been all able to gather around to discuss this important entity that you placed in our lives, in this role that you've given us in fatherhood. And I want to encourage and thank you for all the fathers out there as we continue on our journeys of fatherhood and being there for raising our queen. You would give us the wisdom, the knowledge, and the know-how that it would take to raise our young babies and our young kids in today's environment as successful young people that are positive contributors to society, successful in everything that they set their hands to do. Strengthen all the fathers out there, hold them up, Father, and give them the wisdom, as I said before, to do and handle and carry out the things that you have commanded us and commissioned us to do as fathers and as dads. And so we thank you for this time once again. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And that was quick.
That was quick.
No, that's wrong.
That was quick.
That was wrong.
That would, Coda, you not right. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Mimi.
Nope.
I love you still. Mwah. All right, guys.
I shan't get the prayer.
Wow, that was absolutely amazing. From the beginning to the ending of the prayer, what I can say right now is so be it. The declarations that you put out for the fathers in the home, I think was so necessary. We're in such a season now where there's so many shifts happening, and this conversation today, celebrating Daddy-Daughter Day, should be the new norm. Like, this should be the new norm. Everything else is shifting. And I think as a community, we have the duty, the right, and the obligation to make sure that we amplify conversations like this all the more. This was amazing for me as a daughter. I have a father who's passed on, but even to hear these conversations, and I can be totally honest, I didn't grow up with this exposure. I didn't grow up with this daddy-daughter relationship that even Regina talked about being that ultimate daddy-daughter, right? And then seeing you all, my life was different, but God. And coming from an educational perspective, because there's the the director for the DTEC TAG program, which is Delta Teacher Efficacy Campaign, and teachers leading great change out there. We're advocating this father piece is important. And why do I say that? Because I was in the education realm. I taught in the classroom for 17 years. And I tell you, I could tell, and I knew my students, but those that had that daddy in their life, even that if the mother and the father wasn't together, even when that daddy was in that life, it made such a difference for education for many reasons. The U.S. Department of Education said in an article that came out, in a two-parent household, children are more likely to do well academically, to participate in extracurricular activities. I heard about the karate, the arts, the singing, the dancing, all of that, and to enjoy school, and are less likely to have ever repeated a grade or to have even been suspended or expelled if their fathers have high as opposed to low involvement in their schools. That's the statistic, and it's real. So I heard so many things today from you wonderful fathers. Thank you for opening your hearts and putting it out there. And I would say to all the fathers that's listening now, or to come back on the back end, please think about how to be more involved in your child's life if you're not, because it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference, and it's easy ways to do that. They can just know that you care. All of these fathers had the same type of thing that I heard when they were talking. We talk a lot about social emotional learning, right, in the schools, and ACEs, and the trauma and the mental health. But when you have that divine order and you have that father figure in your life, or that home with the two parents, a lot of those social emotional needs, those mental health needs, and you have low ACEs because you don't have as much trauma happening to the children. So dads that are not involved, please get involved. It doesn't cost any money. People are not really out here looking for your money. I ain't gonna get into all this child support stuff. I know all that's going on. However, if you just show up for your babies, just show up for your babies, call them, get them, read a book with them over the phone. You heard about literacy here. We have authors, we have books. I have a question for the authors. Have y'all thought about creating a series of books with a curriculum? Guess what? Education needs this culturally relevant material that you're talking about that's been created. I think we need to package these things up even more and get them into these systems to be used as literary works that children can work through as they learn in spelling words and sight words and even numbers, and being exposed to the geographical things around the world, from even the journey when she went to New York and Central Park. It's so much that we can do, but fathers especially, we call unto the deep, okay? The deep, for the fathers to arise. Arise, daddies, it's Daddy-Daughter Day. Arise, your children need you. Even if you haven't been there, don't think it's too late. Don't think it's too late. Show up and show out so that your children can get the nurturing they need from only what you can give from a father-daughter bond. So thank you so much for this opportunity to bring an education lens. As we move forward, you're going to hear a little bit about the All of Us Research Program through a video. A guy named Brian is going to talk about him being a participant. And even Devin shared how his daughter went through 2 clinical trials as she was being treated. Like, you're going to hear about what that looks like in some way, form, shape, or fashion through precision medicine and the All of Us Research Program. Not sure if those are the programs that they utilize, but there are things out here that our communities can become a bit more aware of that even are out here for us to utilize. So thank you to each father. Thank you to DREF. Thank you to everyone listening. And now you're gonna move to the video and learn a little bit more. And then Regina's gonna come back and close us out. Thank you all and God bless you.
My name is Brian, and I represent the All of Us Research Program as a participant ambassador. And I'm also a member of the Department of Veterans Affairs as well, and a military veteran. High blood pressure, diabetes runs in the family, cardiovascular disease. So yeah, these are definitely concerns that I have for my family. I definitely wanted to take action. So of course I talked to my doctor about what changes can I make to try to prevent some of these issues and ailments I may have in my life over the time. I signed up for the All of Us Research Program because the upside, the advantage from the program is greater globally than probably any other option we have right now. To be able to use the genetic information of many people and actually have the potential to help them with medical science is one of the best things we've got right now.
Please allow me to say that today has been absolutely amazing. I truly hope that this brief session will be the catalyst for relationship building, creativity, open communication, and additional dialogue between fathers, daughters, families, and communities. If there is any way that the Delta Research and Educational Foundation, DREF Research Matters, or DTEC TAG can be of assistance in the support of continuing the conversation, feel free to visit us at www.joinallofus.org/DREF or email us directly at researchmatters@deltafoundation.net. You know, a father's legacy extends far beyond the physical. Take it from someone who's been called Little Larry all her life. It also impacts the emotional, psychological, spiritual, and mental components of a child. I'm often asked, how is it that a girl can look and act so much like her daddy? Well, the truth is, I don't know. But what I do know is that it is important for me to not only remember the lessons that my father taught me, but to also learn as much as I can about him and his family history so that I can be an advocate for my health as well as my family. We want to take a moment to thank all of our participants today. Pastor Kevin, Demi, and Dakota, Pierce, his daughter Stella, Fred, Journey, and Briley, and of course, Devin and Leah Steele. You all have made today truly magnificent. Please visit our websites and social media, and please visit their websites and social media to continue to support their daddy-daughter efforts. And now for those winners. Some winners will be announced now, but we will also give you opportunities following the presentation to complete the survey, and we will select additional winners. So, the winners that were selected at random thus far are Will Dixon and Cheryl Terrell. Again, Will Dixon and Cheryl Terrell. For those of you who did not have an opportunity to complete the survey during the actual presentation today, again, the QR code is on the screen. Please scan that QR code. It's like a 5-question survey. Complete those questions and submit that survey, and we will definitely continue to select winners because we have daddy-daughter prize packs that include all of the materials, the books, the CDs, the books from Leah, as well as the book from Fred, as well as Devin Steele's book and Pierce's CD. So we definitely want you to complete that survey for a chance to be a prize winner. Again, congratulations to the 2 winners selected thus far. And for those of you that have not completed the survey, congratulations to you in advance. Again, thank you for joining us today, and make sure that you enjoy the remainder of your 2020 Daddy-Daughter Day. Thank you.
Stella, we gonna play daughter day. Yeah, daddy daughter day, girl, what up? Right now we can go anywhere you wanna. Roller skating rink to the movies, chilling at the house. Maybe later on we could go get a banana float. Yeah, cause that's really tasty. We can be lazy, stop and smell the daisies. Do what you want, me and you in the car. Go play in the arcade or shop at the mall. Hope you ready for a wonderful day. Sunny outside, hope you ready to play. When your mama asks you how your day went, you gon' tell her daddy be your favorite. Sun is going down now, get into your jammies. Bedtime concert performing at your Grammys. Close your eyes and now it's sleepy time. Tomorrow we gon' press rewind. Daddy da da day, 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 daddy da 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 da.